be talking about, and I don't know if you want to add any other stories.
You got the Aaron Rodgers one, right?
I did, yeah. I got that one, and got Hunter Biden storming out of the Capitol.
I didn't even see that. What about anything with Vivek in there?
No, we can add Vivek. I'll make a placeholder for that.
Yeah, I'm gonna look at it.
All righty, everybody. Welcome to the J&J podcast. This is episode number 15. Happy Thursday. It is 8 o'clock. Good haircut, Jeff. I like it.
Yeah, we're recording a VSL video for my company, and shout out to Natalie the barber and Boxer Jim. I went down there, did a shout out for them. She always makes me look really good, so I went back, and she looks really good too.
Fantastic. So today's stories, we got a lot of fun stuff to get into, a lot of crazy things. Year of 2024. It's been 11 days into the new year of 2024, and it is already the year of chaos. We're going to be talking about Hunter Biden storming in and out of the Capitol Committee. Jeff, have you seen any of that? Did you see any videos regarding that?
Nothing about that. Nothing.
Okay, it's pretty crazy. Desantis.
I did see that. Did we talk about Jeffrey Epstein still being alive?
We can talk about that. Add it to the notes. So we're going to be talking about Desantis and Haley squaring off in their last debate, what they said to each other. We're also going to do a deep dive, no pun intended, on the tunnels found in New York that is run by the Jewish community, and the reasons for the tunnels are currently unknown. We're going to try and find out what's going on. Pat McAfee banning Aaron Rodgers. Something doesn't add up about Pat McAfee pausing Aaron Rodgers' interviews. We're going to go over that. Fauci saying that 6 feet distance rule, it came out of nowhere, is pretty much what he said. So he's not taking responsibility during a deposition that he had. So, man, we've got a lot to get into. As far as our stories, what's the first story that you want to get into?
Maybe Hunter Biden, because I don't know. Sometimes I wait. I think we're getting live on my channel too. I think I can go live here. I wait until J&J podcast to discuss or look up some articles so we can look it up. I know I should do some recap, but I'm like, man, I want my live reaction right when I see it on here,
Got it. All right. So you know what? Let's bring that up. So basically what happened is this pretty crazy stuff. So Hunter Biden, our boy, Joe Biden's boy, has
literally Joe Biden's boy.
So it's literally so he has been. There's so much going on with Hunter Biden. So this is basically he stormed into this. We're going to show him leaving right now, but he stormed in, and then that's awesome. I love it.
We got two people on.
Welcome. Thank you guys for watching. So this is shared by the Hodge twins. I searched Hunter Biden. Hodge twins came up. So this is Mr. Hunter Biden. He's right around here, and boom.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Excuse me, Hunter. Apparently, you're afraid of my words.
Whoa! Oh.
I like to reclaim my time, Mr. Chairman.
So that's Marjorie Taylor Greene. Now, the one interesting thing here, the reason why I wanted to play this video, if you see this right here, look at this. These are cameramen. And Hunter Biden's
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Excuse me, Hunter. Apparently, you're afraid.
Follow them out. They're filming some sort of documentary or something based on Hunter Biden. And he just walked in. Hunter Biden pleaded not guilty to $1.4 million tax evasion charges in California, and the judge set trial for June in the middle of Biden's re-election campaign. He faces up to 17 years if convicted. He was here in Washington, D.C. Wednesday. He then flew for California for his arraignment. Trial will now begin in June. So he's facing a lot of tax evasion, a lot of different crazy stuff. And one of the craziest things that I've seen is... And, I'll stop sharing. So here, maybe this is the beginning. Let's see. This is the beginning.
Out.
So I'm gonna look it up while we're talking, but
Well, the one thing crazy about Hunter Biden is he became such, and it's funny because Biden's whole family, if you really get into it, it's all a mess, man. It's like the most messiest family, and it's sad, man. I don't want to see anybody's family, or root for anything. But Trump said on they were talking about something. He referred to him making millions, and he made a joke saying, "I didn't do it how Hunter Biden did it." He's like, "I did it with hard work." Oh yeah, he said it was, and I just thought, wow, that's and it's funny because Trump, and I think it was Don Lemon, who's now welcome to X Don Lemon. Don Lemon's over on Twitter. Trump basically wound up saying, and I'm paraphrasing, it's like, this is good that people see that the Hunter Biden, because in Joe Biden's debate, I don't know if it was Don Lemon or not. You can look at it. They admitted that Joe Biden lied and said he did nothing. Like Joe Biden lied in the debate to Trump, and Trump was like, "No, your son was involved in everything that he's involved in," and Biden was like, "No, that's not true," and now he's getting convicted for it all.
Right, and
less than 4 years later.
Is it a big surprise that Joe Biden lied? Now, check this out. Look at what this reporter asks Joe Biden, if it'll play. All right, let's see.
Other side of me. Hunter, papers. Are you on crack today? Mr. Biden, why did you put your dad on speakerphone with your business partners if you had no involvement in your business? Do you have a dad? Does he call you? Yes. Do you answer the phone? Yes. Okay. But why did you need to?
All right, let's see if this one will play.
Did they ask him if he was on crack today? Is that what they asked?
Yeah, are you on crack today?
Be quiet and let me make a statement, okay?
What kind of crack do you normally smoke, Mr. Biden?
Let me, you please, I'll answer your question if you be quiet and let me make a statement,
What kind
okay?
of crack do you normally smoke, Mr. Biden?
What kind of crack do you normally smoke, Mr. Biden? Jeez, man.
Listen, right or left, press are ruthless. They want just something to say. Personally, people that I know who went through drugs, people are going into drugs because they have problems. And I don't think whatever, man. I know whatever it is, I just don't think that's a appropriate question to ask,
Well, I mean, when he had a bunch of videos that came up and him smoking crack, these photos being released with him in a crack pipe. And if you remember, Jeff, for sympathy, he went on, I believe it was 60 Minutes, and said, yeah, I mean, I remember going through the rugs looking for Parmesan cheese, snorting Parmesan cheese, hoping it was crack cocaine. So he's the one who brought this up in the first place. Now, whether
most druggies, they tend to play the victim role and go out there anyway. Like a lot of them do. You know what I'm saying? So this is no different than him being a druggie, convicted, who literally all these millions is probably all going to drugs anyway. It's a horrible. The drug pandemic is horrible, man. Like it ruins so many different lives, and people come in here and obviously his as well too. I mean, the whole Biden. Maybe if I had a dad who was a pedophile too, I'd be on crack cocaine, But
yeah, so let's go a little bit. We'll do this looks like a good story. Let's recap this one. So this is a New York Post story, and this is on Hunter Biden leaving. So Hunter Biden storms out of House hearing after showing up. I'm protected, by the way. Come on. What is going on? Yeah, stop.
Do this quick scan. Do you want me to share my screen? I think I can do it, right?
Jeez, man. Come on. That's not cool.
We need a Rob.
Yeah,
Is there echo or is it just me?
You're echoing, I believe. It sounds like you're echoing.
It's ever since when I went live on my channel.
So let's get into this story. This is a Washington Post story. So this is basically a summary of everything that's happened. House committees vote to refer Hunter Biden for contempt. The move comes after the president's son makes a surprise appearance at a committee hearing. 2 House committees voted Wednesday to recommend holding Hunter Biden in contempt of Congress for not submitting to a closed-door deposition, capping a circus-like day in which tempers flared, insults flew, and pornographic photos are displayed on poster boards. Following hours of debate, the House Judiciary Committee and the House Oversight Committee each voted along party lines to recommend that the full House refer the president's son to the Justice Department for the potential contempt charges. But the timing of any vote by the full House and the willingness of the U.S. Attorney's Office to act on the referral remained uncertain. Hunter Biden showed up unexpectedly Wednesday on Capitol Hill with a brief but dramatic appearance at a committee hearing as Republicans began the process of holding him in contempt of Congress for violating a subpoena seeking his closed-door testimony. So in other words, they were trying to get him to do a closed-door testimony, and he just showed up unannounced and was like, all right, why don't you guys start questioning me now? The president's son walked through the congressional hallways and sat with his lawyers at the beginning of a meeting of the House Committee on Oversight, which has been seeking his testimony. His visit came a day before he's scheduled to appear in Los Angeles for an arraignment on tax charges. The committee hearing quickly devolved into a shouting match among committee members, with Republicans railing against Biden, accusing him of performing a political stunt, as Democrats yelled back that it was Republicans who were playing politics, given that Biden showed up and was willing to answer questions under oath in a public setting. You are the epitome of white privilege coming into the Oversight Committee, spitting in our face, ignoring a congressional subpoena to be deposed, said Nancy Mace, addressing Biden directly. What are you afraid of? Biden, sitting between his attorney, Abe Lowell, and his friend and benefactor, Kevin Morris, stared ahead at times with a look of amusement. Partway through the hearing, as Marjorie Taylor Greene began speaking, Biden got up and left. Apparently, you're afraid of my words, she said. What a coward. So I don't know if we can go to the YouTube and find the whole video of when he gets up, but it is just a blatant, like they start to talk to him and ask him questions, and literally he just gets up and is like, fuck this. I don't care. I'm going to do whatever I want.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like someone who's like a. I hate to put Jay because Jay was in here, but when Jay was on drugs and stuff, you kind of do whatever. I'm gonna leave this live.
Okay. All right, so let's watch this video real quick.
All right, I think that might have fixed it.
Okay.
Yeah,
So,
that's kind of with the video.
Here, breaking news: Hunter Biden unexpectedly attends House Committee contempt hearing.
Apparently, you're afraid of my words.
Whoa! Oh.
I like to reclaim my time, Mr. Chairman.
Burst their bubble. Wow, that's too bad.
So I don't know if they have the part where he just gets up and walks out. But
Mr.
basically,
Chairman.
it's mobster-like type behavior. I can do what I want. I'll do whatever it is that I want. I'll get up. My dad's the president, and I can get away with whatever it is that I want.
Right. Listen, I don't expect anything better from it. Like, this is exactly what I expect. I think the whole thing is, I think it's sad, man. I really do. At the end of the day, I know it sounds bad because he spent a lot of money. I just think the whole situation's sad. Like, the fact that we have a president's son in there. Like, one thing I will say about Trump, at least Don Jr. and everybody else, or even Chelsea Clinton, who I did see on the PBD podcast. Maybe Chelsea Clinton isn't Bill Clinton's daughter, which never heard that before.
Pretty crazy.
But like the thing is just to have the whole family's a mess. Like, it's insane. Like Biden should be the person really on trial here, though. You know.
Oh, 100%. Well, don't forget. Do you remember what Biden said about his son?
No. What?
He's the smartest kid I know. Now, listen.
He got away with all this. Biden, you're getting all these millions? Well, you're a genius.
He might not be wrong. Yeah, and he's taking all that money and he's using it for crack and hookers. And the crazy thing is we are in a point. This is what makes me sick. All right. You're like, hey, it's sad. I get it. Yeah, it is sad. But there are people who go through this every single day, and they're not the president, and they're not the president's son, and they have to deal with the consequences of their bad actions. But what's happening is because Hunter Biden is Joe Biden's son, he's not dealing with any consequences. In fact, he's doing whatever the hell he wants. And when it came out that he was involved in this tax evasion and the process of him being able to launder money to different countries, serious stuff that is like you could be known for treason. It was just swept underneath the rug, and he's not being held accountable. And I think every other person who goes through a scenario not quite like this, because I mean, hey, not everybody's going to be doing what Hunter Biden's doing, but they're being held accountable and he's not. And I think people who have their eyes open and their ears open should be frustrated by this, because Hunter Biden's, I mean, maybe he is getting in trouble. We're seeing this right now, but if he's able to walk in, surprise walking in, and by the way, he's walking in on purpose to make a statement. He's not invited there. He just walks in to make a statement. So imagine this. You're an attorney, you're a lawyer, you have your closing arguments, or you have your arguments, you prepped your the people that you are going to have testify. And all of a sudden somebody comes in and says, I want to testify. And as the defense or as the prosecution, this is a surprise witness. You didn't have the chance to prepare any notes. That's exactly what he did. He walked in, sat there, amused himself for a few minutes. And then when he started to get asked tough questions, he went, F this, I'm out, and laughed. So basically that whole point of him doing that was a middle finger and saying, I can do whatever I want. And whether he meant it or not, that's how it comes across. And we, as Americans, are just sitting back and watching this and being like, yeah, is this guy even going to be held accountable?
Yeah, no, but listen, I think you can make that thing for a lot of politicians in here. And I understand he's kind of at the limelight too, because of everything he's done. And I mean, it's funny because where this year's going, I feel like nobody's going to be held accountable. Like we didn't even have voter fraud on here, but we just allowed, I was watching it on PPD's podcast, 12 million illegal immigrants who are all going to get voting rights. And I don't think anybody's going to be held accountable for that. A few episodes ago, I don't know, it was episode 6, we showed them smuggling in, foreign people. So my whole point in saying that is it doesn't shock me that if he's not being held accountable, if nobody else is being held accountable up there on Capitol Hill,
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I think there's a lot of there's no accountability. However,
here's the thing: what's the benefit? Okay, cool. What's the benefit? And I get everybody should pay for whatever they do wrong, right? There should be accountability. But if we do prosecute Hunter Biden, he goes away, he gets years in prison. How does that make the country any better? Like, I almost feel like this is a whole distraction.
Yeah, well, 100%. You can use that argument for anything, though. Like, well, why should they be put away, or why should this could be a distraction? The reason why they should be put away is because there's consequences to your actions. If you do something wrong, if you do something illegal, if you commit treason against the country, you shouldn't be just given a slap on the wrist. You should be held accountable for it. And the problem is people are not being held accountable, and there is no sense of leadership, so people can feel like they can do whatever the hell they want as long as it fits the narrative of whatever politicians are pushing at that moment, whatever the left is pushing, whatever the right's allowing the left to push, whatever is going on right now. If you make statements that are cohesive to what they believe, then you're safe and they're not going to do anything to you. But if, God forbid, you do something that they don't like, then, man, they're going to try and cancel you. They're going to put you in prison. They're going to put you in jail. And the problem is we're holding only a certain group of people accountable, and the other people we're just blatantly giving a blind eye to. And I think there should be accountability for everybody, because people need to know that it doesn't matter if I'm right or left or red or blue, that if I do something wrong, I'm going to be held accountable. There's consequences for my actions. Not if I shake hands with somebody and say, if you do this, then I'll do that. Then I'll get away from this. One last thing I'll say is, I remember I was a server and there was a cook, I'm not going to say his name, but I was a server and there was a cook, and I was just trying to do the right thing, right? I started off as a host, and then I worked my way all the way up to a managing partner. But as I was a server, I was doing the right thing. I was running food. I was refilling drinks. I was helping the cooks. I was helping the expediter. And I gave one of the cooks a drink, and he said to me, he was like, "Thanks a lot, buddy." He's like, "Don't be too nice, man, because you'll never get anywhere in life." I said, "Yeah, man, I hear you." I said, "I'm just trying to work hard." And he goes, "No, don't do that either." It's like, the only way anybody ever succeeds is like if you kiss ass and play politics. And I was like, "Whoa, okay, all right." But he felt certain about it. And fast forward like a couple months later, he actually got fired for stealing. And I worked my way up to being managing partner. Now, listen, it's not because I was any better. It's just because my belief was I want to do the right thing. I'm going to try and do the right thing. And I'm going to be accountable to my own actions. Now, the unfortunate part is he's not actually wrong. Because what he sees, his perception was reality. And he's seen a version of that does tend to succeed in business. Because if I kiss ass and I play politics, then it doesn't matter what I do. I don't need to work hard. And unfortunately, I think right now where we are as a nation is most of the people are doing that. They're playing politics. They're shaking hands with the people that they want to shake hands with, making side deals, and they can just get away with whatever they want.
Yeah, no, I agree with all that. My point in saying that is, okay, let's say he does get held accountable. And you're right, that is true. My point is, I feel like there's way more people we could hold accountable. I do think he is. Listen, one thing I love is that Elon Musk bought Twitter, exposed the whole laptop situation. And now 3 years later, when it was all getting swept around, there are people trying to hold him accountable. Whether it's not going to stick, everything in our judicial system sees it. And it's funny, the one thing that played through my mind with the video cameras filming him, I wouldn't be surprised if they're making a murderer and they're defending him and making a whole documentary of him doing this.
They're filming a Netflix documentary right now. Why do you think they showed up and then got out to leave? Like, those guys are filming them. And I don't know.
And that's probably why he showed up. They probably were filming this whole thing or doing it. Because this is how power Netflix is. And I haven't seen Candace Owens saying this, but you can literally, this is why media is so popular. You can literally tell a story as marketing, tell a story any way you want. And history's all agreed fiction anyway,
Yeah. And I think we're at a point where, listen, this should have been handled years ago. This whole thing should have been handled years ago. And unfortunately, it was not. It was not because it was swept underneath the rug. So now some sort of element of free speech is coming back with Elon Musk buying X. And now, okay, some of these stories are coming into the limelight. I don't know if it's too little too late. Yes, they're being held accountable, or they're starting to be held accountable, but it should have happened a long time ago. Let's wrap this up and get into the next story. Yeah. I want to briefly
23 minutes on a story, Josh. I want to be like PBD.
Yeah, well, I mean, listen, I that was good dialogue because I think we need to help hold people accountable. And I think there's a belief in America that's going on right now that people think that there are certain rules that apply for other people that won't apply for me. Rules for thee, but not for me. And I think it's taking the life out of a lot of Americans because they think, man, there's no accountability. So why do anything anymore?
Before we move on, gut feeling, do you think Hunter Biden is held accountable? Yes or no?
It depends. And it depends on what path Joe Biden does for 2024. So JP Morgan, I don't know if you read this or not, but is predicting that Biden will step out of the race.
I saw that. I've been keeping up with the PUD podcast, which is getting me on everything,
So if he steps out of the race, I think he will get caught. I think he will have some accountability. Will it be what it should be? Probably not, because they're shaking hands with everybody and the system is corrupt. But I think if Joe Biden drops out of the race or something happens to him, then yes, he will. If he is not and he continues to run again, which we should talk about, then I don't think anything else is going to happen. Yeah. So CNN, going to the next story, CNN did a debate in Iowa, and it had Ron DeSantis and Nikki Haley, but it did not have Vivek Ramaswamy.
Why?
For some reason, and listen, I don't know. I don't know because I feel Vivek has been everywhere and DeSantis and Haley has not. So this is only telling me one thing, really, and that is the system is propping up these two people for people to take a look at. Now, I mean, there could be people who watch this and go, I don't even know who Vivek is. I know who Ron DeSantis is, and I know Nikki Haley because everybody's been talking about her, but they didn't even know what she was doing before this. But now they know her name. I think right now is we are being fed whatever the system wants to feed us. And right now what they want to feed us is Ron DeSantis and Nikki Haley. And after all this happened, I mean, I don't even know if I would want either of them as president.
Yeah, I know. I was listening to somebody else talk, and they said if I had to pick two, it would be Ron DeSantis over Nikki Haley, and I do agree with that. Ron DeSantis I did watch some highlights from it. He did have some good moments in it for it. But man, the big story was where's Vivek? Vivek's the one who's kind of taken center stage every single debate here. Whether or not people want to say it or like it, he has. He's spoken more truth, had more highlights, knew what to say. Dick Cheney in 2-inch heels, like he's had it all in there. And now, did Chris Christie drop out by that time before they did it or no?
Chris Christie dropped out. I believe it was the night of the debate or the day before.
Which, by the way, it makes me listen. I'm with everybody on Vivek and maybe the George Soros stuff. And there's certain things that I understand where there's trouble and is he trying to steal from Trump and whatever. But when they do stuff like this, same thing when they put against Trump, it makes me want him even more, right? When they take it away, right? When they just give me these two, I'm like, no, I want Vivek. I'm going to look for where he's at, right? So it's very troubling. It's funny. I wonder how much time if Siri's right? If Alexa's right, and we're at World War III and there's not an election and there's a cyber attack, we're not able to talk about this. How much is this like that's almost where if you had to predict the year of chaos, we'd be in a world war and there wouldn't be election happening. So how much are we talking about that doesn't even matter,
Listen, I mean, I don't know. That sounds, I hate to even go into that type of talk because it sounds like crazy talk. It just does. Like, would that really ever happen? However, having said that, the thing is as we have gotten crazier and crazier after COVID, during COVID, some of the crazy things that are happening right now, or people are suggesting that used to be conspiracy theories, have all come true. And now it just seems interesting that when people say crazy statements like there's not going to be an election and everything's going to be shut down and there's going to be tyranny, I go, it might happen, as opposed to thinking man, it's not going to happen. Well, let's get into this next story. So I want to watch briefly Ron DeSantis and Nikki Haley, and we won't watch too long. We won't spend too much time on this, but I want to talk about what we believe. What is our opinion of Ron DeSantis and Nikki Haley after watching a few minutes of this? This is from
her donors' issues. I'm running to pursue your issues.
Rather than
Nikki Haley's running to pursue her donors' issues. I'm running to pursue your issues.
Rather than have him go and tell you all these lies, you can go to DeSantisLies.com. It will cover the fact that he's only mad about the donors because the donors used to be with him, but they're no longer with him now.
You got to have a leader who's going to fight the teachers' unions and is going to deliver school choice. Governor Kim Reynolds did that here in Iowa, who's endorsed me. She said she's always supported school choice, and she failed to deliver. She blames other people. Leadership is about getting things done.
If leadership's about getting things done, how did you blow through $150 million in your campaign and you were down in the polls?
So here's
you are not a manager.
Governor DeSantis, it's Governor Haley's. It's Governor Haley's time. Go ahead.
I think I hit a nerve.
Do not trust Nikki Haley with illegal immigration. That's like having the fox guard the hen house.
Will any of the more than 10 million undocumented immigrants in the U.S. be allowed to stay in the country under your administration?
You have to deport them. And the reason you have to deport them is they're cutting the line.
We will build a wall. We will actually have Mexico pay for it in the way that I thought Donald Trump was.
I wish Donald Trump was up here on this stage. He's the one that I'm running against. He's the one that I wish would be here. here. He needs to be defending his record.
People like Nikki Haley care more about Ukraine's border than she does about our own southern border.
Nobody knows what he believes because when President Obama was in office, he supported foreign aid to Ukraine. Now he's copying Trump and trying to act like he doesn't want to support Ukraine.
Nikki Haley is basically a carbon copy of what Biden is. It's an open-ended commitment. They want another $108 billion.
There's a reason the Taiwanese want us to help the Ukrainians.
Okay, I can't take much more of it.
Yeah, listen, this is my take really quick is Ron DeSantis is a typical politician. He's more established. He doesn't have the George Bush likability. I think there was a meme someone shared me with George Bush. I think you shared it in the group chat with Sean and everything. It was pretty funny where George Bush, it's not even funny.
Make those terrorists pay. Watch this drive.
Yeah, George Bush at least had this funny politician way, but still like crazy. And it's funny because the internet was around to kill him back then. And he got us into a lot of wars we don't need to. But he was your typical politician doing everything. I think Ron DeSantis is exactly that. That's what he strikes me as that. Now, with that, I do think even though she's Republican, Nikki Haley is just another version of Hillary Rodham Clinton. Has the donors, has the sponsors, will say what I need to say, will do what I need to do, all that stuff in it. The fact that everybody's gotten behind her shows that the media wants her. It's ridiculous. Like, it's ridiculous. She's not even doing as well in the polls, technically, and they're propping her up all the time. And they were trying to hope she's more charismatic, and because Ron DeSantis is more systematic, that maybe I'm actually impressed with Ron DeSantis because I think he held his own and did a few things very well. Nikki Haley communicates very well for it, but she's just, I would vote for right now Robert F. Kennedy Jr. over her, maybe even Joe Biden over her. That's how much she just seems to I don't even trust her. This is Joe Biden. I know we're getting, what we're getting.
So these are my initial thoughts. So Nikki Haley seems angry and emotional when she debates. And I get it. We all are going to get angry and emotional when you debate. But it's like she gets frustrated, like, why aren't people listening to me? And I think, unfortunately, that's an unlikable characteristic for a leader, because what happens is if you're like acting as if people should like you, you're kind of taking away the respect that they might be giving you by demanding it and saying you should respect me, and why aren't people bowing down to me?
I think Ron DeSantis did that a little bit too at points.
Yeah, I would agree. He does a little bit of that, but he does things a little bit more smoother, where he seems like more of a smooth politician, where like Gavin Newsom.
Yeah, okay? I'll push back with Trump. He's very like, Trump's bad, you should like me, kind of in a way. Like, look what I did.
Like
against Trump, it does not work.
An angry brother, yeah. So one thing that DeSantis said that was pretty interesting. He said, I debated Newsom, and now I think Nikki Haley lies more than Newsom does, and that's saying a lot. And he had a couple of good quips when it comes to like politics. Now, let me ask you this: it is Biden, DeSantis, Haley. Who do you want?
Biden.
Okay, so you'd rather have Biden over DeSantis and Haley?
No, I just want to see who is. Part of me saying like I'd vote for Biden. I mean, he's the most popular guy, 82 million votes. How could you not, right? The guy's as funny he is. The thing. No, listen, Biden, I think by far, just by the fact that he's used the N-word, and I'll repeat this time and again. Not the crime bill. They should be black in chain. They should be back in chains. If you don't like me, you're own black. That alone shouldn't have got him in the first time. We're all yelling that Trump's a racist all the time, which is the whole narrative, which is probably the farthest thing from the truth in that realm. Ron DeSantis would probably have to be the one. But then I feel like we're just getting a George Bush president. Nikki Haley, I don't trust. It wouldn't be great. But I think, I don't know, man. I feel like we're getting a politician. I really want, this is why I want to run. I either want myself, Vivek, or actually RFK Jr. Is he not in? He's not in there.
I'm giving a hypothetical.
Ron DeSantis. Out of all those, yes. If you take that,
So Ron DeSantis out of those three. Okay, got it. All right. So for me, same thing as well. Now let's take Ron out of that. It's Nikki Haley versus Biden.
Yeah, then I'm writing myself in. Like at the end of the day, man, that's
all right. So I'm not saying, listen, you can be absent and not vote, but who would you rather have? I know what my answer is.
Who would you rather have?
So for me, I think it's the same result. We're going to get the same result, but I would rather have Nikki Haley, and this is why. Just for this reason and this reason alone. And I can't even believe I'm saying this. It's hard for me to watch videotape of Biden speaking because it's very embarrassing. It's very embarrassing. I don't feel proud to be an American because the person that is our president they're weak and there's dementia going on. It's just sad. It's sad to watch. I don't even think the guy knows what's going on. He's screaming at the TV, screaming at the teleprompter. He's falling everywhere. It's embarrassing. The only good thing, and I think Nikki Haley would just usher in all the same systematic things that Biden's doing, the building back better, all that stuff. It would just be the same thing. The only thing that I would think is Nikki Haley would at least be coherent when she speaks compared to Biden.
Yeah, at least I don't think she's as racist as Biden.
I would hope not, but it wouldn't surprise me if she was. I do not trust her, just like I don't trust Biden. But I don't trust Biden because I know he's not competent.
Well, let's say Biden's competent. Let's say Biden's in the 1960s, right, when he's still a senator doing nothing, right? And it's that 1960s versus them. Who would you have then?
It's a good question. So Biden, 1960s Biden.
Competent
Biden. This is good. Competent Biden versus Nikki Haley. I guess I'd probably take Nikki Haley. Yeah.
Yeah, that was my point. I think you take Nikki Haley, and that's your all the time.
So
I hope by the way, that's what they want. By the way, that's what the media wants. They want Nikki Haley and Biden right now. Although here's the thing, we didn't do anything about Biden not running. Like, I feel like we're wasting, and Vivek said it well. Take down the guy you have a prop thing. And I think they said it. I don't know if Patrick and David said it or who said it. The fact that they're leaving him up there so they could just put another plant in and pull him down at one time seems like so perfect. Like, I'm like, oh my goodness, that's exactly what's going on.
Plus, let's take a look at this. And this is something that I think we need to just address. And have you seen the chart when it comes to the illegals coming in?
I did. I screenshot it. I sent it to you guys in our chat.
Yes, I did as well. And I want to share it. I know what's his name? Elon Musk shared it.
Yeah, Elon Musk has been tweeting like the past 10 times about a fair election. And it's funny because Elon Musk did vote for Biden last time, and I don't think he will be this time. And not only that, I think he's pretty astute, pretty smart to know that, hey, maybe Biden didn't win the first time and they suppressed. Listen, they can't suppress a Biden laptop story this time on Twitter. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they cannot, which is pretty crazy. Now they have one piece of media that they cannot control. That's insane.
Probably the biggest one. Like X. Now I go to X for news. Like literally, if I'm searching news, that's where I go. So I don't even go to CNN.
And one of the reasons why is because their community notes is actually pretty good. It's not always perfect, but if something's not true, there'll be a community note that will add context saying, hey, this is being manipulative in the way it's being progressed. Actually, the whole side of the story is this. And it makes me feel like, okay, I can see both sides of it. And there's a lot of people that don't like that. Did
you see Don Lemon came over to X?
I love it.
I like it too. Megyn Kelly was very upset about it.
I don't think anybody can please Megyn Kelly, to be honest. I think she'll always be upset. I think that's part of her shtick. Now, I posted something. What did I post? People were going crazy. And I
think it's good. If you're going to have Tucker on X, you might as well Don Lemon. Like they're both – Tucker's probably pretty far right, I would think.
Yeah, he definitely is.
By the way, I haven't gone through Elon's tweets. I just go through Elon's tweets sometimes. It's so fun. We should do a a separate.
So I'll get into the what's his name coming in, Don Lemon. But I wanted to share this. So check this out.
Was that
No
Biden?
great nation
Yeah.
can be in a position where they can't control their borders. It matters how you control your borders, not just for immigration, but it matters for drugs, terror, a whole range of other things. So that's the first sort of truism. The second truism is that this nation is such that people in the country
He's so confident.
should have the first opportunity to be able to have jobs that pay well and have jobs that are decent, and that after that, the second crack goes to what we may need from other parts of the world or any other input. We have to. And I had been arguing when I'm back in my days as chairman of the Judiciary Committee and straight through as the leader of the Foreign Relations Committee, I've been arguing for the need to put more protection at our borders, meaning that you have more border guards. This president, refusing to add the number of border guards, now said he has to send the National Guard down. He vetoed. He was against adding the number of.
This is crazy. I'm not going to watch the whole entire thing, but this is crazy to see. So, who's the president at the time? I think it was Bush.
Well, that's why, dude, one of the things, Biden hasn't been Biden. He's propped up and someone's giving him all. Like, I think this is what he truly believes. I think he's more like Trump than anything else. And then he was told to go after Trump. Like him and Trump, you could put a clip together of him and Trump saying a lot of the same things.
Well, back then, they didn't need to import voters like Elon Musk is saying. So look at this. You got 5 million illegal immigrants.
Elon actually said it. I didn't realize he actually put their importing voters.
That doesn't matter.
Wow, I love it. Man, who needs True Social when you got Elon Musk?
Because some of the states are declaring that illegal immigrants cannot vote in county elections, but they can vote in what? Federal elections. So what does that mean? That means, you can't vote for anything that's going on in your state, but you can vote for who's the president of the United States. So
that's why, by the way, when everybody says, when I always talk about when I do, or if I will, or if God wills me to run for president, right? Which I think would be cool. Going from here to all of a sudden giving it a shot, right? Maybe a Vivek shot as I become a better communicator. I just think it would be cool. Like,
that makes one of us. I have no desire to do that.
No, but here's the thing. The reason why is because the president has. I know there's the guys with the black suitcases, like Andrew Tate says, but they do have a lot of control. They do have a lot. They can write executive orders. When Trump was in there, a lot of stuff happened. When Biden's in here, a lot of stuff happened.
So my opinion is this: if you want to make change, there's two different ways that you can make change. One is, why does it happen? I don't know why.
Balloons want change. I got to turn that on.
There's two ways. And no, I'm just getting the balloons. Balloons all over here. I don't know what's going on. So there's two ways you can make change. One is through influencing masses at a time. And then there's another way of influencing small groups at a time. I think they're both beneficial. I think you need both. I don't think either way is better. However, for me, I'm a small groups at a time because this is what I believe. I believe, for me, people aren't going to be listening to me all the time and go, I like what he says. In fact, I'm not going to be the most influential person when it comes to certain topics on a lot of different topics. However, if I can find a group of people that we can all find senses of agreement on, and then I can influence them to maybe step forward on an issue that I strongly agree in, those people will begin to talk to other people, and they'll start to influence the people that I could not reach. That, to me, I think everybody has capability of doing. Everyone. Not the president of the United States, but every single person. From the person who makes $20,000 a year, from the person who makes $450,000 a year. I think we all have that capability. It's just how are we choosing to influence ourselves with what we consume, and how are we choosing to influence others by what we choose to tell other people and motivate other people with. So for me, I think the best thing to do is be very intentional on the ways that I want to influence people, because there are certain people, and I'm thinking of them right now. I know if I were to share with them my beliefs, they wouldn't listen to me because I'm not, in their mind, somebody who is a level of authority. However, I do know quite a few people where if I were to say, hey, this is what I believe, this is what I believe, they'll go, 100%. I believe that too. And you're right. That is a cause we should be fighting for. So I think, and I implore everybody who's watching this right now, take stock of what you believe in, what you believe in America and how you want it to be better, and influence the people you know you can influence for the right reasons, not for manipulation, but to make America a better place, to make your life a better place, and to make your children's lives a better place. Trust me, I have a son now. That's like a strong focus now. I'm thinking, okay, long term, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years down the road, what does my circle look like? Who am I talking to? Who am I influencing? And how am I making this world become a better place?
No, I agree. And I believe that is more. That's what I'm doing with Changing Life Consulting. You know, the word for 2024 is community, and it's really just building out our communities with missions that matter and really holding true to our values and principles that were literally maybe have been forgotten about. And people sometimes get so influenced now by certain things that are put out that they actually forgot what they believe in. And one thing, like, you know, the motivational speaker guy, Tony Robbins, he's done that, right? Tony Robbins, by the way, talked about running for president. And I was like, nah, I'm just going to consult presidents. And he's built out a community where people go forward. And there's Robbins coaches, and there's this whole institute. He's made a movement, right, with everything, right? He's helped out with Conor McGregor and so on and so forth. I saw him in the thing of Stephen Curry. They showed the picture in the thing too. Same thing with Grant Cardone, right? Grant Cardone, he has 10X licensees. He has all these people going around. He's influenced me a point. And no more than Patrick and David, who encouraged everybody at the vault years ago and said, hey, we know some of you are going to have to run for government. Some of you, but any of you can do, but basically we said, go out and influence, right? Now I'm here and do it. So I think that's a lot of reasons why, you know, and it's people like Tim Cass, right? These type of people, they go out and put their messages out, which, by the way, Tim Cass was with Candace Owens and Vivek not too long ago.
Yeah, yesterday, I believe it was. So I want to get into our next story. Before we get into our next story, I want to share what we were talking about with Don Lemon. So this is what Don Lemon said. He said, I've heard you. And today I'm back bigger, bolder, freer. My new media company's first project is The Don Lemon Show. It will be available to everyone easily, whenever and wherever you want it, streaming on the platforms where the conversations are happening. And you'll find it first on X, the biggest space for free speech in the world. I know now more than ever that we need a place for honest debate and discussion without the hall monitors. This is just the beginning, so stay tuned. And people were killing him. So I posted, guys, let's give him a shot. Good for him. He's jumping into a space where debate is welcome. That's not easy to do, especially coming from the mainstream media, because they don't welcome debate. They actually are very easily defending against that debate that they're bringing in. I don't agree with Don Lemon most of the time, but let's welcome all ideas and opportunities to learn and grow. And I honestly think we're going to get the best of both worlds when it comes to Tucker Carlson.
Did anybody hate you on that comment, or they were cool with you?
I got a like.
You know, one thing I've been doing, I've been going to Joe Biden. I follow Joe Biden on Instagram. And I'm like, dude, what? Like every time on a post? Because he's just killing Trump. His whole thing's just to kill Trump right now. Dude,
yeah, that's
I'll give a shout out to Joe Biden's marketing team. One of the most trends is you watch a video and do a reaction video, and he did it to a Trump video. I was like, good for him. At least he's coherent enough to know what the trends are. So,
did they? Wow.
Yeah, you go watch it on Joe Biden's Instagram account. I could go to it if you want. He reacted to a Trump, whatever Trump's doing, you know.
So let's get into this a little bit. I don't know what's going on with this. So let's talk about this, because this is crazy to me. I have no idea. We haven't found anything out about this, but I think it should be reported on. I think it should be reported on a little bit more than it has been. And that is, at least 10 Jewish people have been arrested in connection of a bizarre secret underground tunnel brawl at Shabbat headquarters in Crown Heights, New York. So this was after Bokurim ripped wooden panels to prevent a cement truck from sealing off the recently... Whoa, what just happened? Where are we at? Sorry. Recently discovered tunnels. The tunnels were allegedly illegally dug around 6 months ago in an attempt to expand the iconic synagogue. The case is still being investigated and will provide more details as they come. So this is the video of...
I honestly began the other part.
I'm not entirely sure what's going on right there.
Well, you know what I heard, and I heard this on everything, that there was like beds and sheets and kids, and they were talking about pedophilia. Did you hear that?
Yeah. So this is they're saying it's been used for child sex trafficking, and this is one of the videos that they're showing. Like, these are how deep the tunnels went, and this is what you see. So whatever's going on in here, this looks like a basement, to be honest, but it just goes down further, and who knows what's in there. This looks like
It's a creepy basement. I'd hate to do that whole video anyway.
Yeah.
I didn't see anything. Listen, here's the thing. I saw the movie Sound of Freedom. Wouldn't be surprised anytime you see tunnels. I mean, I don't know. Everybody's building bunkers now, too, to be protected.
So they're literally pulling Jews by the tunnels.
Well, it's out of the question. Foul play. Like, anybody has a tunnel and they're hiding into it. Not the Ninja Turtles, you know? I mean...
So, what are the tunnels for? Do we even know? Do we know what the tunnels are for?
My gut feeling, you never saw the movie Sound of Freedom, right?
I have not, no.
My gut feeling is that it's like something like that. Like, you know, like, and I don't know. Listen, I didn't read anything. I didn't look into it. That's just my gut feeling. Like, tunnels, you're in here, bunch of guys, could be something really, really bad. Like, and maybe this is us with Israel Palestine stuff. They want to do this and make more hate on, you know, Jewish people. It feels like there's a slamming hate towards Israelis now. They like, if you call anybody a Zionist, it's like the worst name in the world. Like, I've never heard that bit before. There's all these new words now. I think it's just devising hate. So this just might just be another thing, you know?
Well, yeah. So one of the things that I saw from on X, which was pretty interesting to me, is that there's a ton of Muslims who are coming out and saying, you know, if this were Muslims, that everybody would be reporting on it. And I read that, and my initial reaction is that's not true at all, because most of the time, whenever it's a Muslim thing, if you report on it, the Muslims will get pissed off and they'll threaten to kill you if you're saying anything against their God or whatever it is. So mainstream media doesn't want to say anything bad against Muslims. But a lot of Muslims are pushing that right now because they have a huge beef with the Jews, with everything going on in Pakistan and Israel. Look, I don't know what's true, but I know what certain people feel to be true. So I know a lot of the Muslims are feeling like, how come this isn't being talked about as much as it should? And
which, by the way, I'll say I don't think they're wrong. I think because Muslims have been painted in such a bad light over so many times because of certain, just like if there were radical Christians bombing abortion clinics, and Christians have been painted in a bad light, in my opinion, don't stand up for their thing. Andrew Tate said it very well, right? Christians don't do that. They don't think. One thing Tristan Tate said, you make fun of Jesus, I'll punch you in the face. I was like, oh, that's pretty good. You know what I mean? And his point was, I'm going to be a Christian. I'm going to stand for it. with that said, I do think Muslims are. I actually kind of agree with that. I think it's yes that, but I do think if there was tunnels in New York City with Muslims in them, with the past history of New York City, with everything that happened, people would think terrorist attack. Just how it would be labeled as that. Where people,
right? I agree. And whose fault is that?
I understand there's stuff in the past. However, dude, is it out of the realm now, okay, to think that the government did 9/11? It wasn't really Muslim people, and we did it just to go back in there and get thing. And how do we know there was any Muslim people who crashed the plane?
So I'm with you. I hear you. Hey, it could have been the government planning 9/11. 9/11 could have been an inside job. I'm not saying that that's not the case, or it was an actual terrorist attack. Both are plausible, right? Especially we don't know what's going on. Having said that, is the stereotype, which is around, is unfortunately there for a reason. And I think right now it's just because, and listen, I have a lot of Muslim people that I know and I love. There's a certain arrogance about their belief, like I'm right and who everybody else is wrong. And no matter, I don't care if you're Muslim, I don't care if you're an atheist, I don't care if you're a Christian, I don't care if you're Jewish. If you carry that type of thought process, it's going to rub a lot of people the wrong way. And especially if you back that up by saying, listen, I believe in our Quran that we can kill the people who we're told to kill. And I'm not getting totally into what their beliefs are, because to be honest, I don't know exactly what they are, so I don't want to misspeak. But
by the way, and I think you can make the same argument about being a Christian. There's certain things that like stone people to death. You know what I mean? You can go radical with that. So my point,
I don't think you can, and this is the reasoning why. Jesus died for people. He died for people, right? No other God died for their people. Jesus died for them. That is and he did it in a very violent way. And I get it. There's a lot of people that fight over religions. And my personal thing is that is not based on the religion. That's based on man's ego. It's not really, God's not telling people to kill other people. And at least the Lord that I know is not saying that. He's going to be the one who holds people accountable. But whatever's going on with this, now, having said all that, whatever's going on with this secret tunnel leading to New York, I actually agree. I think it should be reported on more than it is, because it just seems bizarre. Why are they getting arrested? And I'm going to share the story. I want to read it because I don't know what's going on. And I want to find out more about this. So, secret tunnel found in New York City synagogue leads to 9 arrests after confrontation. 9 men were arrested after a chaotic scene at a historic synagogue that saw a group of students clash with police over a secret tunnel leading into the structure from a nearby building. The men who were arrested were protesting the tunnel being filled with concrete, the Associated Press reported. The protests turned violent when police tried to make arrests. The group broke through a few walls in a building adjacent to the Chabad Lovitch movement's headquarters. Said in an email, while Sludgeson did not respond to questions from USA Today regarding the origins of the tunnel, he told the Associated Press the passageway is believed to have started in the basement of an empty apartment building behind the headquarters, snaking under a series of offices and lecture halls before eventually connecting to the synagogue. Videos posted on X, formerly Twitter, appeared to show congregants clashing with the New York Police Department near a sheet-covered wall as police pulled men out of the hole. The NYPD said officers responded to a Monday afternoon call for disorderly conduct, and 9 men were charged with criminal mischief and reckless endangerment, among other charges, while 3 men were issued court summons on disorderly conduct. So we don't know why. Housing synagogue, supported the best, they were supporting in the passage told the Associated Press they were executing Shanir's plans to expand the site. Those supporters said the basement has been overcrowded and they sought to annex more space, and some thought plans were taking too long. So they built tunnels. It's obviously deeply distressing to the Lubavitch movement and the Jewish community worldwide. So we don't know. There's no reasoning why there's tunnels built. Maybe they were trying to expand, but why are you trying to expand illegally? The only way I can think of this is, and listen, half of my family's, my dad's mom's side is Jewish, so I can say this. Maybe they were cheap. They didn't want to purchase more real estate. So they started making their own real estate and started digging underneath to get more real estate for the synagogue. But I don't know. Maybe it is tunnels. Maybe it is that. I'm not certain, and I don't know. And I'm surprised that nobody's talking about it more.
Wow, I went to I'm surprised too. Listen, I read a lot of Twitter posts when it came out, and a lot of Instagram posts, and people basically said Jewish people are pedophiles, and there's young kids under there, and they were like, it sounded like you're jumping to claims, but I listen. Then I don't know, and I don't know why it did kind of. It seems like it's swept on the wrong. Just like the aliens in Miami, that's what I was trying to go to Twitter for, and I saw another headline, breaking news. But I don't know if it's really so much breaking news in your point. I don't know if we should report on it.
What is it?
It's well, here, can I share my screen?
You should be able to if you have down below.
Just the tab. This right here.
All right, so let's share the screen. Let's show on stream. Okay.
Do you see it or no?
Finance Guggen slaps telecom. Big John Legere with 100 million defamation. Sue. Okay, so they have beef and he's suing them.
Yeah, I was there for a lot of this, so it's pretty personable. You know, it's pretty interesting. But what I wanted to go to was this here. Can you see my screen now? Still,
I can only see you're on the same thing. So
I shared the tab. All right. So well, here, let me go here. Well, here, let me stop sharing, and I'll go back in there. So basically, the same way they swept it in wrong. I'm out here in Midtown Miami. I'm hearing cops like crazy. They swept under the rug. I don't know what it was, Nephilims, whether there's aliens. It was definitely not kids hitting. I know this wasn't on our list, but I feel like we got to talk about it before it's gone because it might resurface again. Bayside, Josh, you remember Bayside? We went to Bayside, right?
Yes, I remember.
I love it. I go there all the time. I work from there, from the little place. I love working over there. It's like a little vacation. They just opened a new place, and that's what I wanted to play the Leia video. I watched that one. I feel that was the most legitimate news. Everything else was like a crazy alien conspiracy, you know?
Okay. So I want to share something that is a little bit crazy, but I think it needs to be talked about. And it's just, to me, I think we were talking about God and the Lord and people sticking up for the Lord. I want to talk about this. I think we need to talk about it. You know who Lil Nas X is?
Yeah, kind of, from that video.
What video?
Didn't he have the video of like Satan and stuff? Was that him?
Yeah, so he was the guy who took a stripper pole down to hell and did a lap dance.
All right, I remember the video. Yeah, we didn't have a show? I think we talked about it on our show, didn't we?
We did. So Lil Nas X is now releasing a video called J Christ. So he posted this on TikTok. Him dressed like Jesus, taking communion, was saying, "Damn, you fucking that shit up." And his video is actually, I think it's premiering tonight. But basically, it looks like an out-and-out mock of Jesus. But I don't know. The video hasn't dropped yet.
Is this it? I think this is it.
Yeah, it's only a 20-second video. And
is that Barack Obama in it?
So it looked like it. And as I'm looking at this, so
I'm taking it. It's not a Kanye West Jesus Walks type, right?
I don't know. I'm sorry, but do you all really think the creator of the entire universe, GAF, if we capitalize the letter, like all the shit going on in the world, and you think this mad at me because I didn't capitalize a G? You're all not bright. God bless. So you notice how he always spells God with a small g. Yeah, y'all can be delusional if you want. And then Barack Obama, Mariah Carey, Ed Sheeran, and Kanye West hit the J. Christ premiere. Now, one thing I find very interesting about this is, to me, that looks like an inverted cross.
Yeah.
So, listen, I haven't listened to the song yet. I don't know. Maybe he's having a come to Jesus moment, but I can imagine that this is an ego play, and this is not something that is okay. So this is what the video looks like, and he is now on the cross, and Jesus isn't on the cross. Got it. Okay, and he has the inverted cross as his in his eye as well. All right. So this is what I'm going to say. I'm going to say it real quick as if I'm speaking to Lil Nas X. So Lil Nas X, I see what you're doing. I see you trying to get attention, and you get attention very well. What you're doing right now is you're mocking God, and you're mocking Jesus. And one of the things that the Lord says in the Bible is God shall not be mocked. And what does that even mean? It means, hey, you will be held accountable. And you think, yeah, but nothing can stop me because I get the money that I want. I can make the videos I want. I can mock God that I want. I can make shoes that have the devil's blood in them and have the 666 counter on the shoes. I can do whatever the hell I want. I am God. I am Jesus Christ. You can have all that. You can think all that. But this is the thing. It's ignorant. It's stupid. It's childish. And anybody with half a brain can see that it's just a cry for attention. Really what I see is I see someone who is lost, who needs God, who needs somebody to say, I love you. And instead of them trying to find that, what they're doing is they're making fun of it. And at this point, I would say to Lil Nas, listen, there's a lot of things in life that you can pretend don't exist. You can pretend God doesn't exist. You can ignore it. You can pretend that no matter what, there's going to be no accountability. You can turn off all your senses. You can act as if you can compromise. But in the end, when you die, every excuse you make, nothing stands between a man and his maker. You will be held accountable for the things that you do, for the people that you speak against, and most importantly, for speaking against the Lord. Now, I haven't watched your video, so I don't know. Maybe it is pro-Jesus, but I have a feeling it's evil and it's not. That's why I'm having this conversation. I don't like it, and I plan to do this any single time that I see a celebrity bashing Jesus, because nobody stands up for Jesus. And I think, Jeff, you and me will from now on in this show, and I don't care if they cancel me or not. If Lil Nas X wants to keep posting stuff about making fun of Jesus, okay, you're going to have to hear a rant from me every 5 seconds after you do it, because this is not cool.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And it's funny. They say God shall not be mocked. And we watched Logan Paul mock God on George Shanko's podcast. And Logan Paul had the worst week of his life, and he actually admitted and said, man, I think it's because I mock God, and a thing. So I wouldn't be shocked. Listen, this vengeance is mine, saith the Lord. I wouldn't be shocked if anybody in here, if he is mocking God, what it does totally seems this. And with a lot of the satanic play that is so blatantly out there, this seems like it. So I think it calls for a time for people that do believe in the Lord to really stand up for him more so now than ever. Certain situations like this, just to see Barack and how he was posed at the J. Christ premiere, it just felt wrong. The whole thing feels weird. It's crazy, and I've seen certain things over the time. I remember a Nike commercial with a satanic look to it. There's a girl who just got back. Oh, we didn't even cover this topic. There's so much, dude. 2024 is crazy. We might just need to live stream the whole thing. Ecuador, Ecuador, right?
Yes.
So there were hostages. Ecuador got taken over by all these cartels. Okay. Wait, no, it's not Ecuador. Sorry, it was El Salvador. Sure, I always get messed up. No, it's Ecuador. Did you see that?
I heard about some of it, yeah.
Well, anyway, it's just evil. My whole point is, listen, there's God and there's ungodly. And anything ungodly, the people, they mock the light. And the reason why I was bringing it up, one of my friends, if anybody here doesn't believe in God, doesn't believe in the Lord, look at this very clearly. There is a light with Jesus. There is a confidence. There's a peace that passes all understanding. I know it. Even me taking all these risks in a business owner, I lay down, I pray, and I just feel this peace that understands it. In that whole vibe, whether it's Logan Paul being negative, whether it's Lil Nas, defaming the Lord every single time, there is not peace. There's scarcity to it. And people, it's so weird. It's so clear to see. And I generally pray for everybody in that point, because it's very scary as we're seeing more and more blatant people really at this time in the West really just defame God and not stand up for stuff if we taking God out of the schools. And it's really just unsettling, the fact that, and hopefully maybe he comes to Jesus Christ and Brock gets saved and everything. But everything telling me is it's not that. I don't know enough about saying this. Part of what I was talking about Ecuador, one of my friends who got stopped in Ecuador was thing. She told me that she grew up in a satanic, or she was around people who were satanic. And then when she met me, she's like, "Oh, I'm glad you believe in God." I said, "Why?" She's like, "Because I've seen the other side." And I've been around people saying, "Man, you don't believe in that?" And I don't even know that dark side. I see it. I don't want anything about it, man, So it's just great. It kind of does. I don't know what's going on with Kanye. Kanye is losing it in many different ways. I don't think, these artist geniuses, the fact that he's showing up in there, and Kanye was at point a marvel genius, but he's done so much stuff that it makes me scratch my head now,
Let's get into the next story, which is, I think, one of the last stories, unless you want to cover something else. But so you've heard about Pat McAfee and Aaron Rodgers, correct?
Yes.
What do you know that's happened recently?
So I watched all that. I'm a big fan of Pat McAfee. I hope he'll come on the Kokomo J show when I have it set up here, or maybe even this show. Really like Pat. Think he was good. But I think Pat sold out to the money. Very similar. And let's say our show took off, became a really good show, got a lot of views, and ESPN had a contract, right? And then we came on here and we spoke just as, which we should play the clip of, because it's worth playing. Aaron Rodgers, who I was always a Brett Favre fan. I still like Brett Favre. But, man, Aaron Rodgers warned me about how boldly he spoke about COVID on it. And I want to watch Pat McAfee, and I forget his co-host's face. But did you see when he spoke out against COVID? No, we can't let COVID go. Did you see that?
I didn't see that.
Okay, I'm gonna play it then here. So what's your take on it? I'm gonna cue it up.
Oh, I have some breaking news. That's why I wanted to ask, because I had the same thing as well. So apparently, what happened is Pat McAfee came up and he shared this, and I want to share this real quick so we can understand a little bit of the So he came on and basically said this.
There's going to be a lot of people that are happy with that, myself included, to be honest. With the way it ended, it got real loud. And real loud. I'm happy that is not going to be my mentions going forward, which is great news. We're a conversation show. People are having conversations. We live in a country that has freedom of speech, but also you're going to have to deal with the consequences of your freedom of speech. So what I'm saying is we've given a lot of people who've been waiting for us to fail a lot of ammo and things to attack us for over the last week, and we would love to get back to the point where we just move on and continue to silence all the haters over here who can't negotiate as good as I can, all the people over here who can't create a show as good as us, and all the people up here who are just going to always be here, and they're going to hustle and do their thing, which I respect. But we need to do that, and that is our focus. That is our goal. And Aaron Rodgers is a Hall of Famer. He's a four-time MVP. He's a massive piece of the NFL story. Whenever you go back and tell it, he will be a huge part of it. We are very lucky to get a chance to chat with him and learn from him. Some of his thoughts and opinions, though.
Yeah, I saw this.
Okay, hold on now.
And I'm pumped that is no longer going to be every single Wednesday of my life, which it has been for the last few weeks. On Friday, obviously, I threw us into the fire as well. Forever stand by that. Everything else, though, just can't do that, and not what we want to be known for. And I'm also pumped that I don't have to do these types of talks anymore. So with that being said, sports are alive right now.
So you seem very uncomfortable.
He apparently just had Aaron Rodgers on a show today.
Yeah, dude, listen, you don't follow Aaron. Dude, I have the news headline. When I went to go find the Aaron Rodgers video, I'm reading an MSNBC headline. He's back. Aaron Rodgers returns to Pat McAfee show day after host said is done with the show. Rodgers, do you want me to share this or no?
Yeah, share it, because what I think he just did was, I don't know. I want to watch it, because this is, to be honest, this is genius marketing here, because he had everybody worked up and now he brought him back on. So people
what I think, and then listen, now this is all speculation. Obviously, let me share this here. And we're going to read this live. This is breaking news. We should change the title. Look, see, he's back. Aaron Rodgers returns to the Pat McAfee show just a day after just what you just played. NFL said NFL star is done with the show. Rodgers stirred controversy on the show with his recent comments about Jimmy Kimmel and Jeffrey Epstein, and also COVID. He really spoke out of COVID. I want to show that later on. Appeared Thursday to share praise for Belichick. So just one day after Pat McAfee announced Aaron Rodgers would no longer appear on a show this season, the ESPN host welcomed him back. On Thursday episode, which I got to go watch, the Pat McAfee show host brought on the New York Jets quarterback onto the show to talk about his relationship with Belichick upon news the coach is leaving. Joining us now to chit-chat about massive names in the umbilical departed from two teams in a very high level. This four-time NFL man who was a Super Bowl champion, McAfee said, ladies and gentlemen, the last human Belichick talked to on the field is the New England Patriots head coach, Aaron Rodgers. Rodgers noted that he's in the woods enjoying the offseason activities, the regular season, and it's wait, is this a recent article?
Yeah.
McAfee said on his show Wednesday that the weekly segment Aaron Rodgers Tuesday was done for the season. There's going to be a lot of people happy with that, myself included, to be honest. Rodgers had caused a lot of stir. Speaking Wednesday on the blowback, Rodgers' comments about Kimmel, McAfee said the incident criticism, and over last week, we had certainly given them all a lot of stuff to get mad about and become loud about. He said, we messed up in that particular aspect. We were very lucky to get the chance to chat with him and learn from, okay, this is what you said. Rodgers, however, appeared on the Mac following 2002, doing stints before and after. So what happened? This isn't really explaining.
So apparently he just he had him on. So he had him on to talk about Bill Belichick, saying that Aaron Rodgers wasn't going to be on, but he brought him on today and said, hey, let's talk about Bill Belichick, because Bill Belichick is leaving the Patriots, which is interesting. This is off topic, but I remember I was working for a restaurant company, and they always used to point to Bill Belichick as like, he is a great coach. And he's a great leader. And we just all strive to be the leader. And we were talking, and there was a whole group of a circle of people, and they were talking about like how great Bill Belichick was. And I said, when it came to me, like, and I didn't have to speak up, but I wanted to. And I said, I'm biased. I don't like the Patriots, but I think a good argument can be made that it's not Bill Belichick. It's his team that makes Bill Belichick look so good. Where would Bill Belichick be without Brady? And everyone's like, they were kind of quiet. And I said, so who do we have in our restaurants that are Brady's? We should make sure that they're the ones lifting us up. We get credit, but we got a lot of Brady's on our team. Like the managers who understood what I was saying were like, yeah. So Brady leaves, and what happened to the Patriots?
And Brady leaves and goes and wins the Super Bowl against the Kansas City Chiefs, against what's his name? What's the guy's name? Patrick Mahomes, who's like the next era quarterback. This guy comes out of nowhere, first year in the team, goes and then beats him soundly in the Super Bowl and almost game the next time. So Brady totally distanced himself from Belichick. Belichick had the one season where he made the playoffs with the backup quarterback, but Belichick is scarred with cheating, where Brady had to cover for Belichick. They had to destroy tapes. So, like, listen, I might be a good manager too. I got an argument with this about Dad when he left, because Dad was saying, he always wants to give Belichick a pass that everybody cheated in Maricini. Doesn't matter. Jim Harbaugh got suspended just recently, I guess, right? For you can't cheat on the election. Can't cheat. You just should not cheat. Everybody should be held accountable wherever it is, so you don't do it. Because Belichick, I think, is a smart guy. I think he knows how to do cheating very well, and he can benefit it more than Wade Phillips. And I hate to give Wade Phillips a bad thing, but Belichick was smart enough on that. But the reason why he's smart and he looks so smart is because he had freaking Tom Brady.
Yeah, and the problem with Belichick is he just wasn't likable. Like,
and Tom Brady was likable, but he was not likable under Bill Belichick. He was so much more likable when he left Bill Belichick. For me, I went from rooting against them to actually. I was in a business conference at Driven in Beverly Hills, sitting down, and I wanted to watch the playoffs, but I was so nervous that the Buccaneers wouldn't beat them because I wanted Brady to win without Belichick. And I was watching the score on the phone with Rob Luna next to me. I was sitting in the front of it. I'm totally name dropping here. You know what? I never realized until you brought up how many times I name drop. So next to someone but it's just people matter. Things don't.
So let me tell you about all the great people I've been around.
I mean, I paid a lot of money to be around some people. That's why.
All right, I think we're wrapping this one up.
Can I end it with? I mean, we might get banned on YouTube, but I want to end it with this right here because you didn't see this, and I want to watch this with you. This is what got him. The fact that he's back, because I believe. Can you see my screen now or no?
Yeah, I'm letting you share it.
Okay, so look, Aaron Rodgers goes on a rant about vaccines on Pat McAfee show. I just want to effing move on. This is why he got off. This is why Disney called up Pat McAfee. He told him, hey, put on some sleeves and make an announcement that'll never be done.
There's a few things that I'm going to have to check you on in there. Okay, as you're going
Please do.
As you're going through there, I was making a checklist for the CNBC folks. You know, the whole crew. You said that Anthony Fauci was the biggest spur of misinformation. I remember he was throwing out opening pitches terribly. Worst of all time. You know, and he was the guy. He was the one giving the information. And then he said that's proven to be wrong. I assume you're referring to some studies or something that you have found, and obviously you've invested a lot of time in because you've been called a murderer, a killer for not getting the vaccine. I assume you've paid close attention. If you would like to expand upon that particular statement that you made early in your response there, I think that would be good for all parties.
I don't know if he wants me to, but yeah.
This is what I'm supposed to.
Oh yeah,
right? Ain't I supposed to?
Yes, this is journalism.
Let me indulge you. First of all, there are dozens of studies that talk about that have done by reputable places that have been published in reputable journals that talk about a variety of different subjects, including the efficacy of masking, efficacy of lockdowns, efficacy of a number of different medicines, repurposed medicines, antiviral, anti-malaria medicines, stuff that was used all over the world. In order for the vaccines to get emergency use authorization, right, the EUA, this is what people don't understand. It had to be that there were 0 early treatments that worked against COVID. Right. So what did Dr. Fauci say? There was nothing. There was nothing they could do. All they did. This is the protocol. Somebody gets sick, right? Send them home till they got really horrible symptoms, and then bring them back and put them on remdesivir, which is $3,000 per dose, and a ventilator. And the statistics are staggering about people who went, especially on ventilators, especially the elderly, and it's devastating and extremely sad.
I remember those times people weren't allowed to go into the hospital and see their family, right? I mean, that was at the very.
And I know it's crazy, and this is maybe an old way of doing things, but I enjoy reading, and when I'm reading something, I may be delivering a message, but I'm not delivering it as my own. I didn't come up with any of these facts. You know, I wasn't in the weeds. I'm not an epidemiologist, a virologist. I'm not any of those things.
I didn't watch all
who's
this.
interested in certain topics. I like to read.
Goes off.
And then I take other people's ideas and opinions and contemplate them and think about whether they're true or not, what feels true to me, and then I'll make my own beliefs off of that. I know it's a weird way of thinking, and the idea of even like doing your own research was vilified for a while, which is crazy. But I enjoy reading. I read studies about this. I've read books. I think Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s book about Fauci is incredible. It's also doesn't paint him in the right light. I haven't seen Dr. Fauci file a lawsuit yet. I know RFK Jr. personally. I know he researched and made sure that his comments and studies were peer reviewed by a number of different people so that you don't get sued. But it doesn't paint him in the best light. And yes, I believe that he had a financial incentive to not push ivermectin and HCQ and monoclonal antibodies and zinc and vitamin D and vitamin C, all stuff that was used all over the
This is
world.
where the clip gets.
I'm talking about in Japan, in Brazil, in Mexico, in Uttar Pradesh, in India, a state that has 230 million people, and at one point had less than like 10 COVID cases active, when we were having thousands every single day.
Pat McAfee, P.S. Don't
Like, look at Africa. The continent of Africa had very low numbers, and many people think that Africa, there's parts of it that are very third world, right? But what do? Most of them, the part of their routine is to take anti-malaria drugs. And when you get in a pandemic, this is, again, all I've read. I'm not a virologist. I'm not a doctor, right, in the sense. But I am interested, and I've read these things. And they take a lot of anti-malaria drugs over there because malaria is a problem in Africa. And anti-malaria drugs, repurposed nature of them, have been seen to stop viral replication.
I want to get to the
and they would have been able to be everybody who lost people to COVID, everybody who dealt with the draconian measures. And that's my last point. Then I just want to fucking move on. But it's like,
It's right here.
people are always like, why are you still talking about COVID? Like, why don't you just move on? It's ridiculous. I'm like, well, let's see what happened. They locked everybody up forever. It was supposed to be a couple weeks, right? They locked everybody up. Hundreds of thousands of businesses closed and never opened again. Dozens of people that I know in their 30s, who poured everything into these small businesses and restaurants and bars and never opened again. So they lost everything. They're on their ass, right? The wealth gap got even bigger from the haves and have-nots. They lied to us over and over. They vilified early treatments. They censored legitimate doctors in the space, like Dr. Peter McCullough, like Dr. Corey, like Dr. Robert Malone, who allegedly was there in the beginning of the mRNA technology, and so many more people than that. The Alex Berensons of the world, the Weinsteins of the world, who were like writing about this, talking about this. Brett Weinstein.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was about to say, I was about to check you.
And had an informed opinion about this. I mean, they were arresting people who were surfing in California. They closed the beaches. When I don't know what percentage, but probably 60% or more of the country is vitamin D deficient. And vitamin D, does well against the common cold, as does vitamin C, as does zinc, as does the number of home remedies that we all have. But no, stay inside, wait for this vaccine, which is 100% safe and effective, which they told us. So my whole point is, listen, they lied to us many times over. They locked us up. They closed our businesses. They increased the mental health issues exponentially. The rates of suicide went way up, and they're just like, they vilified us. The draconian things that the ridiculous shut down. We lost billions of dollars. There's no NFL owners who are mad about this now that we look back and go, oh, well, maybe we could have stopped this with a little like early treatments, or like not given remdesivir and a ventilator to these patients. Maybe like treat it like the common cold, where you have symptoms and you start doing something about it. You treat it, and I have a problem with that because now people are just like, oh, just move on, just brush it on the rug. It's like, well, I have many apologies, not by that guy in ABC, and not by any of these people who are still. I mean, the LA County, we just put mask mandates back in.
Oh, buddy.
I mean, how many studies have we seen now from all over the world that show the lack of efficacy of masks?
Hey,
talking about
real quick, usage of efficacy today has really showcased your intelligence. I want to let you know that you've used it in a phenomenal fashion. I assume you did it because you have become the paragon of conspiracy theories from all these people. And
I feel like my intelligence has been attacked, and I might need to grab my my transcript that I used to get into junior college.
Well, you had 2 A's on that in your name, Aaron. I thought that was pretty clever, actually. I will say, and I did check you there, which obviously seems like you have a little bit more research than maybe any other human that exists outside of the potential doctors that you were there.
There's way more people who are well read, and I read their stuff But one of my favorite things, and I'll end with this, and I promise I don't want
No, there's one more thing I have to.
Okay, well then let me get this in. Like, people are always like, you're not a doctor, you're not a virologist, you're not an epidemiologist. I'm like, I'm not. But you know what all those people would say? Natural infection and recovery gives you way more robust, long-lasting, sometimes for life, immune response than any vaccine will ever give you.
Okay, so I didn't plan on playing all that. I didn't watch it. I just watched the part when he said, "I'm not done." And let me stop sharing here. Stop sharing. So, literally, what's your thought on that? By the way, he spoke like you did. I think he spoke well. That's why he got canceled. That was the day before Disney and ESPN pulled him in and said, "Whoa, whoa, whoa!" And Pat McAfee, I didn't watch the first part of it. I actually egged it on and said, "Hey, man, what do you think?" Right? So.
That was 1-9. So that was 2 days ago, 3 days ago.
Happening fast. That happened then. Then Aaron Rodgers never coming back on because Disney, who's probably backed by Pfizer anyway, and ESPN, and then Pat McAfee probably did it, hated doing it, had to do the Logan Paul thing. When Patrick David said, "I'm disappointed," probably saw PBD's tweet and got very offended and said, "You know what? I'm gonna have Aaron Rodgers back on." So the fact that he had him back on says a whole lot.
So the one major takeaway that he kind of glossed over, which I think is very important, that most people who are like, "Why don't you take the vaccine?" or whatever, it's two things. Number one is they had to, in order to get emergency use authorization, there has to be no other way of treating something. There has to be. If there is something else that even works slightly, they can't get emergency use authorization. So they can't force it through. So that's why they were shutting down everything. They were trying to make Joe Rogan look stupid because he took hydroxychloroquine.
I remember during COVID looking up ivermectin to try and buy it. And then online, it was like, you can no longer buy this item. And I didn't know how. It was like, and there was all warnings on the site, like, do not buy this. This is not true COVID. And I didn't know what to do, man.
Yeah. And the thing is they were trying to do that because if anything came, they couldn't push the vaccine. And then the other thing is where I think the vaccine, and listen, I'm not anti-vax, but I think what they really failed to do is when they started preaching it as safe and effective, anybody who has logical thinking can go, how do we know it's safe and effective if it hasn't been tested yet? It's just that simple.
It was so logical. I was there working at JC Tenati at the time at the window company, getting pressured. Why don't you take the vax? I said, guys, it's not even tested yet. I feel so bad because everybody who did take it now, I feel like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, most people who have taken it kind of have a little bit of egg on their face.
Everybody, dude, every single person, unless you're totally. Although I was in the elevator today with the lady with a mask on, I still don't get why people wear masks. Especially when they're driving. I don't even get why they still wear them anyway. I know what I do. You have teeth. You want to fix your teeth as an excuse. Listen, there's never been a better time to be a criminal. You're actually okay to wear a mask go over because of everything. You're not thought of a crazy person. The people who then question you are thought crazy. That's how they've done it, you know?
We've gone to crazy times. And I'm not going to get into this because we're ending, but Fauci was pulled for a deposition. And he said, the 6 feet, that just came out of nowhere. So basically, he's passing the blame. Everything.
He looks like the doctor from the Burbs. He just doesn't. Dude, I feel like we're in a movie. Elon Musk is the Tony Stark guy. Trump is like the I don't know what Trump is. Trump's a totally type of character. He's a true character, right? Biden's like the guy in the comic book that they just prop up and they real stuff into, right? Fauci's the little, you could just make a cartoon. I feel like we're in a movie now. You know what I mean?
There you go, right there.
Look, dude, people actually did it, right? Dude, he totally does. And it's insane.
Nice.
And
kind of talks
like Trump didn't fire him. What should we do? Should we fire Fauci? But he never fired him. There's a few things about Trump.
Well, yeah, because Fauci was smart, and this is where one of Trump's downfalls. And he has a couple of them, but one of them is is that he is easy manipulated by people who give him compliments. So all Fauci had to do was like, "You're doing great, Donald. This is fantastic. All we need to do is just shut down for about 2 weeks."
Yeah, but he was literally Fauci was like in the room and he's like, "Should we fire him?" It was crazy.
When was that? I don't remember that.
There, you want to see it? I don't know if he was in the room, but I mean, he had to see it. Look here. Let me actually. I'm going to put it up here. Fire Fauci. By the way, have you read the book by RFK on Fauci or no?
I started listening to the audiobook version of it, and it's very heavy and very depressing and very data driven. So it's data driven, so it's hard to pay attention. But B, it's also. This guy did some fucked up shit. No consequences. Like with the AIDS virus, and like I was just like, dude, is this true? If 50% of this is true, this guy should be in jail for the rest of his life. It's just crazy.
So can you see my screen here?
I'm sharing it now.
COVID. Would like to talk about COVID, and then next year. Here's what happens November 4th. You won't hear too much about it. You won't hear too much about it. Don't tell anybody, but let me wait till a little bit after the election.
No, he says he's going to fire after the election. He might fire. Yeah, so this is the same video. There's another time.
Listen, he can't get fired now. I mean, he resigned after he got all his money.
Yeah, it was 2 years ago. Listen, the whole Fauci thing is insane. Yeah, let me stop sharing this. Whole Fauci thing is insane. We had, dude, the whole thing. It's like a movie. Listen.
It's like a bad movie.
By the way, what we didn't cover is convicts, and we covered a lot. And I know we have to end this because we're already on an hour and a half. This is crazy. But there's so much that's happening in 2024. We're only 11 days in. Ecuador, all the prisoners got upset. There's Cavalier.
I'm sorry. They got what?
All the prisoners got released.
All the prisoners got released?
Or one of the head prisoners got released.
Okay.
And he started releasing, and then they started robbing all the cars, and it's basically looking like Chicago or something, right? In Ecuador, but it's the cartel, so they took over a news station. I think I sent it to you. Did I send that to you?
Yeah, I saw some video clips of it, but there's been so much going on that I actually didn't even watch.
Right. So that happens. Then we have aliens in Bayside, which we didn't even cover.
Yeah, that's true. But I don't even think who knows if there's aliens in Bayside. All we know is that allegedly people saw things. There's very grainy video, which there always is grainy video. And that if you try to take video of on the ground, allegedly the cops are telling you to delete the video, which to me is the only point where I go, that sounds off. Like, why would the cops do that?
Right. Listen, there's definitely something. It definitely wasn't sticks. There's definitely something to it. I don't know. I'm going to go down to Bayside. Next show, I'll be down on Bayside. I'll give an in-depth report. All right.
All right. We got to do these two per week. So
yeah. So do you want to do Tuesdays and Thursdays at 8:00?
I would like to do Tuesdays and Thursdays. I think it would work very well, but I don't know if that works for you. I mean, it works for me, but I don't know if it's going to work for you. So pick another day that'll work for you.
Well, I have men's fellowship, but I can miss men's fellowship. Actually, this is more important.
No, I think that's important. But maybe it's a Monday. We'll figure it out. I know you got a lot of stuff going on as well. We'll figure it out behind the scenes. All right, guys, we're wrapping up. Please subscribe to the channel if you guys aren't subscribed. We're trying to get.
We should start with that.
Thanks. We're trying to get to 1,000 episodes. We will get to 1,000 episodes. So please subscribe to the show. And if you like it, please like it and share it. Jeff and I are brothers, but we're truth tellers. We try and speak the truth. I come from a leadership background. Jeff comes from a marketing background. We're trying to figure this crazy thing out together, what we call life. So we love you guys all. Jeff, you got anything to add?
No, it's going to be a fun ride. I'm excited for, what are we at? Episode, what is this, 14?
15.
15. I'm excited. Aaron Rodgers is back. And I'm excited for what's going to happen in the next show.
985 to go, baby. Let's go.